life that is yours to lead.
Masisondele, Ila no tolo,
Subhanallah walhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar. Subhanallah walhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar. You can say it once or 100 times or more. You feel at peace inside.
Assalamu alaikum and a very warm welcome to you. Yes, to you, our listeners, right here on Radio Al-Ansar 90.4 FM in Durban and 105.6 FM in Pietermaritzburg. This evening, we dive into a topic that truly shapes the future of our children. Yes, reading, big capital letters, reading. Well, as you're always reading in the press, in the media, what's happening with reading in South Africa. Not just as, a school subject, but as a powerful life skill, a superpower that opens doors to knowledge, imagination, confidence, and success. In a world filled with screens, social media, distractions, how do we bring our children back to books and knowing that libraries are now museums? How do we nurture and love reading, bring back a love for reading that lasts a lifetime? To unpack this, I'm joined by two inspiring educators, Reyhana Sayed, no first time to school matters, a passionate blogger, trendsetter, and not just an influencer of me, myself, and I, but an influencer of progress, skills, development, growth, and empowerment. She is known for her creative classroom concepts and delectables, divine recipes. And Sakhina Mitha, an educator, a dedicated and caring person with a valuable classroom experience and a veteran when it comes to teaching, reading, and involved in many reading organizations. Ladies, welcome to School Matters.
Assalamu alaikum. It's a pleasure to be here. Always a pleasure, Sumaya.
Assalamu alaikum, Sakhina.
Alaikum salam, Sumaya and Reyhana and the listeners. Thank you for having me.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Tell me, how's the weather in La Mercy?
I think it's not that far out of Durban. So it's quite similar, just a little cloudy. But, there's something related to reading.
Yeah.
Is that when we look out there and we decode what we see, just to let you know that the cloud formation and the shape of the clouds and the colors this evening was magnificent.
100%. When I was driving home, I had Fatima Zahra Ray picked up from gymnastics, and while we're driving home and in middle of traffic on a Ridge Road, she's taking our pictures with my phone and on the clouds. And now this evening before I could come out, we tend to delete all our pictures. I said, gosh, this is so beautiful. So you're 100% correct. The clouds looked like a picture book.
Yeah.
Picture book, perfect. But you wouldn't say a storm was brewing. It's going to rain. That's what happened afterwards.
Well, it hasn't started raining here.
Okay. And but you are lovely right there by the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It can be quite pretty.
It's been such a long time that you're coming to studio, but in the near future we're looking to physically have you in studio like old times.
Inshallah, I'd love to.
Inshallah. Sakhina, Ray, we have a topic, reading. It's something where generally South Africa is lacking, falling short. They say learners in grade 4, we're stereotyping and generalizing macroly, not only in ex-Model C schools or private school, but majority of the government schools where learners in grade 4 can't read. Is that a reality, Sakhina?
Absolutely. And I'm going to speak from a public school perspective and from a perspective of poverty-stricken areas in a public school.
Yeah. Do you know, what grade are you doing currently? Grade 1?
I'm doing grade 1.
Grade 1.
And if there's time and it permits, I want to change the perspective of how education has been shaped and the trend that it's going to follow. And it's going to be a stark difference between those who have and those who have not, and the impact it has on their learning.
Okay. Do you know, me, myself, and I, as I mentioned earlier, who thought, and even you too, from a private sector and going to the government, you can see there is a gap. There's a big gap. There is a big gap. A big gap. Well, today we're going to chat about reading, the importance of reading, and the harsh realities, what's affecting our learners when it comes to reading. Let's start with Reyhana, something personal. When you think about reading, what does it mean to you beyond the books and schoolwork?
Sumaya, you know, first of all, you know that I'm passionate about reading.
I can see you got a stack of books there.
You know that I wrote my favorite books because I hope you're going to ask me what's my favorite books. But when we speak about something personal for me about reading, is that for me, in one word, reading is connection. It's not about decoding the words, but it's about entering a world of feeling something, of imagining something bigger than yourself. For children, I feel reading is where their identity begins to form.
Yeah.
And where if they believe themselves that they are, they have that superpower to read. So honestly, I think that some of my fondest classroom moments aren't when a child reads perfectly. It's when their eyes light up when they feel the story. So for me, we speak about reading and our topic being that reading is a superpower. I really believe that it unlocks every single thing in a child. Teaching a child to read means that they learn to be independent, they understand the world, they imagine beyond what they can see.
Yeah.
I feel that if we build confident readers, and I'm not necessarily saying that, and I want to discuss that a little bit later about how it's learning to read and loving to read, that difference. I want to chat about that. But for me, I feel that they can learn in any subject once they can read. They can follow instructions, they can build knowledge on their own. So it's a superpower because it gives them access to information, opportunities, and of course, confidence.
Do you know, you touched on something, difference between learning to read and love to read. I think, Sakhina, with you guys in the government sector, you are still at the stage where you're trying to teach them to read. Has it reached where it is the love to read by the majority of learners yet?
It's slow, but there is progress. And just to further on what Reyhana has said, from what I understood, the message she's giving out is reading is a form of communication. And then when you throw in loving to read, and that it shapes a person's or a child's identity, I think that because it became such, how do I put it without being negative, it was so driven that it had to be done, that the love for reading kind of lost its focus.
I totally agree with Sakhina, yes.
Okay, thanks. Because from what I've seen, because of the background where I come from, that it's poverty-stricken, there's one aspect that's missing, is the relaxed nature of loving to read. So once I've taken that out of the equation of forcing it, I'm starting to see a shift where kids are going on their own to look at a book and read a book, because I've got a library corner. And I know every classroom is supposed to have it, but it's not always possible in a public school. But this year, when I changed the focus, I saw a noticeable difference in attitude towards books and reading. But we can further that as we discuss the topic. But the main aspect here is, as Reyhana pointed out, is loving to read.
You know, Sakina and Sumaya, I feel that when we talk about loving to read and learning to read, this is where parents feel anxious. And it's parents in general, the busy parent, the affluent parent, the parent who's struggling, you know, every single parent, that's, it's a worldwide, you know, worry and anxiety for them. But because learning to read is mechanical. Yeah. That is the phonics, the sounding out, the blending. It's necessary. That's the homework that you get. Read your reader and all of that. But loving to read, that's emotional. That's where now you, as the busy parent, have to also take the time to introduce books to your child, to read stories, to tell stories to your children, to include it when we speak about environmental script and children reading. That's when a child can ask you, can we read one more page? You know, that's saying just one more chapter if you love to read, compared to learning to read.
And that's a very important aspect, if I can just interject here, is the culture of reading to my child. I think that needs to be reinforced, because I can speak from the kind of parents that I have of children in my class. There is no culture of reading to my child. Therefore, the love of reading is not there. So my job is not just to teach the mechanical aspect of the phonics and the rhyming. It's getting a parent to understand that they've got to read to their child. More than that is even to spend time talking to their child.
Yeah.
That was absent for a while, and I label that as neglect. And it's something I'd like to fix for the future.
Inshallah.
Well, you know, there's something which I think many state educators will agree with you, Sakhina, is that everything's done in school, and once you go home, nothing is done. And there are so many reasons. It's not that the child don't want to do, but there's no supervision. There's a child-run homes. There's parents or caregivers coming home like 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock. There's so much going on. And the child only source of reading or education or something to move forward is with the teacher.
And Sumaya, you know, that's where I like to say that as a teacher, our job isn't to teach reading, but it's to protect the joy of it. It's to, you know, really give them whatever they can in that moment that they're with us, so that we know our job, we've done a job well done for those kids who are going back and not doing the reading that we would love to.
Do you know? Reyhana and Sakhina, I think a few years ago, both you guys were on School Matters, and we spoke about reading a couple of years ago. And I think we reached a point where learners can't read. What can they do? And you even had parents, unfortunately, who also couldn't read. And you spoke about picture books and drawing. And do you know, I received so many emails and messages saying that my child is drawing, and then they're going to school and the teacher or friend is helping them to write a sentence under that drawing. And that was how the child learned to read. So that was something you'll enforced on School Matters. And so many parents who are busy and not at home and don't have that time for to read for their children, told their children to do picture books.
Yeah, because that's what happens. Sounds become from pictures, A for apple, A for apple, and those sounds become words. So A becomes apple, then it becomes a sentence, and a sentence ultimately becomes a story, and a story ultimately becomes the love for reading. So it all stems from just that picture and coding it. I like to say, let's flip the brain and think in color. So I always say that if I said the word apple, immediately what color would you think of?
Green.
A
Red.
green apple or a red apple. So this is where we extend vocabulary and we tell the children, but there are yellow ones, there are pink lady ones, there are, so many different ones. And this is how, from a simple picture, we can code into colors, and that increases the vocabulary of I'm talking about really emergent little readers and how we want to include that, because I'm sure you want to know out there, how soon do I teach my child to read?
Yeah, no, that's so important.
How soon is it?
Exactly. Sakina, when it comes to reading, tell us, you grade 1. Ray, what grade do you do?
I teach grade 2.
Grade 2. Wow, that's lovely. Grade 1 and 2.
And I teach reading in 2 languages. So I teach Afrikaans and I teach English reading. So
gosh.
Yes.
Yeah, and Afrikaans, the harsh reality in lots of government schools, primary schools, is dying. Am I right? They don't even do Afrikaans, Sakina?
No, we do isiZulu.
Yes, isiZulu.
We are prominently isiZulu speakers.
Yeah. But the very same learners, once they go to high school, there's Afrikaans.
Yes.
And that's where I feel so sorry for the children, where they have to do Afrikaans. Sakina, tell us what it is like the first month or the first couple of weeks with your grade 1 learners. These are not English-speaking learners. English is their second language. What are the challenges and how do you go about? Because one would think it is so impossible. How do you go about to teach, to encourage, English reading?
Well, there are 2 challenges. The first one is that I teach English as a higher language to children who are not English speakers. So it's twice as difficult for them. But I think the joy comes in where they start to listen to a story. And then there are pictures. And that is my opportunity to inspire and instill a curiosity, because children, this generation, they have no curiosity. And that is the challenge we face because of cell phones and TV.
Yeah.
Now, further to that is the struggle for reading is I've observed a huge problem with fine motor skill development. So it's not just reading, it's writing, it's the use of their hands, because with the cell phone, you must know they're swiping, scrolling, and then they don't play with Play-Doh, they don't play with balls. And another thing I've noticed is that in the PE lessons during that time, a 6-year-old has come to me and said, "Miss, I'm tired." And I'm like, "What? You're 6, you played for half an hour and you're tired." Now, those are the challenges that we face with learning, because the type of child is different, because the environment and the factors have changed, all negatively. So these are impacting on their curiosity, their wanting to learn, because of the new age. The digital age has damaged the child for reading, for curiosity, because everything's instant, it's there. Nobody's working very hard towards anything anymore. But I will tell you that the reading lesson, where your shared reading time, I have seen children actually brighten up, develop, become curious, wanting to know more. And that to me is very motivating, and it gives me, it gives me the will to go on further. It gives me ideas. I want to do more for them, because I want them to learn to read, because I love reading.
Because you love reading. I love that.
I feel,
yes.
Yeah.
And I say that it's the magic of read aloud time. Read aloud time at the end of the day is traditional and it works. I feel that read aloud time is where the magic happens. I know Sakhina is going to agree with me because she's just spoken about that now. I feel that even children who can read, they still need to be read to. And this is for the parents and the teachers. Why? Why do they still need to be read to? Because even children who can read still want to hear the the fluent reading that comes from an adult. They learn extra on the expression and the tone. And every single teacher out there, it's always my teacher tells the best stories. I know in my classroom it's like that. And I know, Sakhina, from what you've just said now, that's exactly how your learners are feeling, that they are accessing stories above their reading level just by you reading to them and that read aloud time. And let's be honest, when a teacher or a parent reads with excitement and dramatic voices, maybe it's a bit that we are overreacting and we overacting.
Dramatic.
And we are very dramatic, but that's exactly how children don't forget it. For me, they'll always say, "But ma'am, why do you leave it at that cliffhanger bit of the story?" So I pace myself that I know, especially if I'm reading a story that I've read before with other learners of other grades when they were in my class. And because I have a few favorites that I always read, and then you leave it at the cliffhanger, and the entire night they're waiting for the next day for read aloud time. That's where the magic happens, I believe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We need to create that excitement. That's so vital. And when we think about it, when we were little and in school, sitting on that carpet and just waiting for the teacher to read the story.
Carpet time, reading time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Changing the voice and going on. That was like our soapy time.
When we speak about reading at home, it's always the encouragement of that 20 minutes a day of reading. And that is, we hear about it, we read about it, that you need to spend at least 20 minutes of read aloud time or reading time with your child. And I feel that that's truly life-changing, because just that 20 minutes of reading a day exposes a child to millions of words in 1 year. And beyond the statistics of it, it builds their vocabulary naturally. They focus and their attention because they know that, it's not overstimulating. It's downtime. It's before bedtime. I hope that there are listeners out there shaking their heads and saying, well, that's exactly what I do. I read maybe not 20 minutes, but let's just say 10 minutes to my child, or I read with my child. And I feel that there's a little secret about it to the parents who are listening in, that the 20 minutes doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah. It can be snuggled under the blanket. It can be laughing at the silly voices you're going to make, at changing your voices. You can even stop to explain the words. And that 20 minutes can just go by. It's not a test. It's simply a memory in the making. You're making up you're making those memories. I know from personal stories that my dad always told us the story about the lion and the mouse. And you said he pretended he was snoring and he was the lion. And now he does it for the grandkids. And it works. They laugh and they giggle at it. You can tell the story over and over again. But the children love listening to stories like that, Yeah. And Sumaya, that book I got as a grade 1 for full attendance. I mean, how many years ago was that?
Well done.
Well done.
I think teachers need to get book prizes for full attendance for their classroom. Hey, books for their classroom.
Motivation. We need that other than giving us food. I mean, that too is like, wow.
We love that too.
Sakhina, right, term 1. Tell me, what are your goals by the end of term 1 or by the beginning of term 2 you should or expect to achieve with your learners, grade 1s, regardless of their challenges and where you expect them to be in their milestones with reading?
The thing is, what I've neglected in the first term was the child's ability to retell. Although we do it, I didn't do it on as big a scale as I would have liked to. Well, we have big numbers, so it can be a little bit difficult, but I think that I've now found children are starting to emulate my theatrics. So if I use a word, I've heard while they don't realize I'm observing while my eyes are down when I'm doing some written work there. And I can hear them repeating phrases or something I've said. And it's comical the way they sound and they're echoing me. But I would like for them to become storytellers now. Because they're not confident in English, we think they can't. Well, I thought it was a challenge, but I realized that in order to get them to become more curious, I'd like for them to start retelling the stories that I have told. I've read it to them. I'd like for them to retell it back to me.
And that's comprehension.
Now, that's absolutely, because we have a problem with reading for meaning and comprehension and stuff. But there's something I just want to mention before we go on. In that carpet time when you're reading to children, the one thing that I have seen more recent and more often is, because I've also changed the story, it's no more babyish and stuff. It's stories that are very dramatic. I've seen them look at me with like awe. And I promise you, at my age, it makes me feel shy. And because we have a big class, well, I have a big class. I've got 44. And I've got a small space in which to have them seated. And I sit on one of the kids' chairs, so I'm low down. I'm almost on eye level. But I've noticed them creeping closer and closer and closer because they love this time and they love hearing the stories. And they love theatrics too.
And they love
But the one thing I would like to do is get them to tell a story back to their peers.
Exactly. Well, we'll be taking a short ad break and we will get back to our topic, the power of reading.
Welcome to Simplex Radio. Visit our showroom for the full range of car audio. Our TV department carries top brands with quality LED panels, full HD to Ultra HD, and now the experience of Super Ultra HD. Visit our theater rooms and transform your home with brands like Onkyo, Integra, Denon, Boston Acoustics, Yamaha, and more for quality audio visual experience. Now available, full range of home appliances. A one-stop shopping experience. Call 031 306 4029 or Kenilworth Park, 202 Brickfield Road, Overport. Simplex Radio, the name you can trust.
In South Africa, countless numbers of sick patients leave their homes at the crack of dawn to join long queues at clinics and public hospitals, many of them suffering pangs of hunger in addition to the symptoms of disease. The Al Imdad Foundation's Slice for Life teams deliver sandwiches to these patients at more than 40 hospitals and clinics across the country. Help us to keep on relieving hunger. Donate online at alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين على أرض فلسطين. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين على أرض فلسطين. اللهم حرر المسجد الأقصى من اليهود الغاصبين. اللهم انصر إخواننا المرابطين على أرض فلسطين. اللهم شد أزرهم وسدد رميهم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم الطف بإخواننا في كل مكان يذكر فيه اسمك يا أرحم الراحمين. استنصروك يا الله فانصرهم. اللهم ارحم الضعفاء والفقراء والمساكين والأيتام والنازحين والمشردين والأسرى يا أرحم الراحمين.
اللهم أنج المستضعفين من المسلمين في فلسطين. اللهم كن لهم عونا ونصيرا. اللهم كن لإخواننا المرابطين في المسجد الأقصى. اللهم كن لهم ولا تكن عليهم. اللهم فرج همهم، نفس كربهم، داوي جرحاهم، عاف مبتلاهم اشف مرضاهم ارحم موتاهم تقبل شهداءهم.
Umrah this July school holidays with Show Mirage Travel. 14-night early bird special from the 1st to the 15th of July 2026 or 10-night super special from the 7th to the 18th of July 2026. Packages include return flights ex-Johannesburg on the world's #1 airline, Qatar Airways, Saudi visa, transfers, accommodation and guided ziyarats. Contact us for the super low prices. Limited seats are available. Call 031-208-4222. Show Mirage Travel, your trusted partner for a seamless Umrah journey.
Hungry for a deal that hits the spot? Get the top duo deal. 2 large margarita pizzas plus 1 topping each for $1.99. Or go big or go home with the Bellissima duo deal. 2 large Bellissima pizzas for $2.69. Pure flavor perfection. And that's not all. The snack box combos are here. Your pizza boy's favorite pack to the ultimate munch box. Don't forget our daily lunch specials. Delicious, quick and wallet friendly. Only at Pizza Boys. Taste that hits different. Pizza Boys, bring your va-va boom to your slice of life. Find your nearest Pizza Boys near you. Pizza Boys, we don't cut corners.
Radio Al Ansar welcomes your feedback. If you have a broadcasting related complaint, please put it in writing and address it to the head of the complaints committee. Include your full name, contact details, a clear description of your complaint, and any supporting documents. You can email your complaint to feedback@alansar.org.za. That's feedback@alansar.org.za. Or bring it in person to our Pietermaritzburg office at 240 Ortman Road, Willowton. Your input helps us serve you better.
Durban Halal Meats, the butcher with a twist. Whether you're firing up the braai or stocking up for your business, we've got you covered. From premium lamb, beef and chicken to custom cuts and bulk orders, all 100% halal certified by Sanha. Enjoy our convenient buy and braai service, fast delivery and easy online ordering at durbanhalalmeats.co.za. Visit us at 84 Felix Dlamini Road, Durban Halal Meats. Quality, affordability, trust, meat made better.
Every student can learn, just not on the same day or the same way. Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. Education's purpose is to replace an empty mind with an opened one.
Join Sumaya Khan every Tuesdays between 7 and 8 p.m. for an educational evening exclusive to Radio Al Ansar.
Your education is a dress rehearsal for a life that is yours to lead. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to School Matters with me, Sumaya Khan. And in studio, we have Reyhana Sayed and we linked up with Sakhina Mitha, both are veteran seasoned educators. This evening, we are diving into a topic that truly shapes the future of our children, reading. Reading is not just as a school subject, but as a powerful life skill, a superpower that opens doors to knowledge, imagination, confidence, and success. So we have Reyhana, who's from the private sector, and we have Sakhina, who's from the government sector. The goal, the objective, the outcome is the same, but it's done so differently. One with severe challenges, handicap, but you make it happen. And but again, both of you guys were talking about reading. Sakhina, so you were telling us about, regardless the challenges, the first term, like, how do you go about when you have children in your classroom who do not even speak English? And you got to teach them English, and to read.
The thing is, with the mechanics of it, first you start with the alphabet. And it can become a bit tedious. So we start to make it a game. If you have the alphabet A, then you ask for other words. So you can do it thematically, like fruits beginning with A or plants beginning with A. It's little things like that you turn it into a game and you try to make it exciting for kids. And like I said, this year I have a class that's slightly different. And the one thing I teach is unity, and I make sure the kids are emotionally regulated before we start with any form of learning. And because reading is emotional, when children are secure, they want to learn. That's what I begin with, is making sure the children are comfortable, they're happy, they want to learn. You start with your alphabets, and then it's the tracing, the coloring. You do a walkabout. What do you see that starts with an A? And of course, also it's the pronunciation that's very important.
Yeah.
And that becomes a game as well. And they start correcting each other. No, you said it like this. No, it should be like this. So when you give them a sense of involvement, it becomes easier, more fun, and they become more encouraged and they want to be more involved.
That's so true.
So that's what I started with. My alphabet, turned it into a game. And now we're building 3-letter words. And they're quite enjoying it. And I see that their recollection is very much better than what I had, the results, the outcomes I had last year. So I think I just changed my game a bit and I'm starting to see good results. But the most important ingredient was making sure the children are more secure and everything is done with love. I don't force anything anymore. It's either, do you want to, let's make you happy, do it because you love to. And I'm seeing a bigger difference now.
Yeah. Ray, we need to know, what are some of your favorite children's?
We spoke so much about Read Aloud. I was waiting for this question, Sumaya. I actually brought along what my favorite series is at the moment. And it's, of course, hysterically funny books. They are The World's Worst series by David Walliams. If you Google who David Walliams is, without me giving too much of what children watch on the digital sort of media, you'll know exactly who he is. He writes the most hilarious, slightly outrageous books. The first one was The World's Worst Children. It's a nightmare. It's a hoot. Then, of course, it went to The World's Worst Parents. And this one, the children love. But even more, and it's a series of so many stories in it, even more is the one that the children love, even more than The World's Worst Parents, are The World's Worst Teachers. And sometimes I pause and I love to choose the one that's about like the art teacher who just loved her art more than anything or whatever, because the children think, but this ma'am teaches art. Is she this person, you know? When it comes to there's one in The World's Worst Children, Bonnie Bossy Pants, and it's all about how she doesn't respect her parents. And then she like yells at her parents and she says, well, you eat the peas or whatever it is. I'm not going to eat it. And the children's eyes are like wide open. I don't know if I have more fun laughing and trying to keep a straight face reading these. But if you're a parent out there and you're looking to invest, because I always say that books are an investment. Sometimes we feel that, it's a bit too much and it's very pricey. And I hope you're going to ask me about digital versus traditional. But I always say that if you give a book to a classroom, that is Sadaqah Jariyah. Because forever and ever, these books are like 6 years old. I purchased them myself, but I know that 6 years of children have used it, and it could be another, 16 more years of kids if you look after your books,
Yeah.
So I just feel that it's an investment. You might say, I'm just going to buy that book and it's just going to lie there on the shelf in my home. But if you give it to schools, there's no school or no teacher that's going to say no to a lovely book.
Since you mentioned School Matters, Radio Linsar School Matters is having a book drive. We started this book drive in January.
Okay.
It's still continuing.
Yes.
So if anyone wants to get rid of, even if it's textbooks, school books, storybooks, novels, books which are just collecting dust, gently used books, you can come and drop it off to Radio Al-Ansar. If you're in the Maritzburg area, you can drop it off to Huda in Maritzburg. She's based in the studio in Maritzburg and she's assisting School Matters. And if you are in the Durban Al-Ansar, you can drop it off at reception in your box.
That's
and
amazing.
As you mentioned, this is after 7 years we will be having another book drive. And what we normally do, Sakhina, I think you can remember, where we invite over 60, 70 schools all come to the hall. And they come to take books. And imagine all these books are taken back to 60 different schools, as far as schools from Ishawi, Camperdown, who are here to take books back to their school. And imagine all the sawab and the blessings. So keep those books? Because right now, I know, especially up to the holidays, people are clearing,
Yes.
getting rid of
Yeah.
books.
And you feel your children outgrow books, because obviously that was their favorite at that time and that's what they liked. But they moved on to, more structured ones or ones that are not fiction ones and things like that. Yeah.
Sakhina, the challenge is social media. As you know, there's TikTok, there's YouTube, and all these games. I'm not going to mention where little kids are busy. They don't want to read. So how do you encourage your children as young as grade ones? I mean, to read, to pick up a book, but they want to be on their phone. They want to watch YouTube videos or shorts. How do you get them to read?
Okay, I don't know if this sounds correct. I'm a little fortunate that my kids don't have their own cell phone as such, but maybe it would be mommy's phone or that kind of thing. So for me, it's a little easier to draw them in because reading to a child is a connection. So because they feel that it is attention that they are getting from me, because you mentioned a word that is like a bomb, a bullet, busy. So because everyone is so busy, mommy is busy, teacher is busy, so this time that they are getting from me is something that they value and they appreciate. So they're going to want to please me. So if I say, we're reading now you take a book and you sit there and you read like me, that's how I'm getting them. And also there's a point you brought up, I'd like to just extend on that. And I think it was Reyhana who spoke about taking care of books. Now I know it's part of the curriculum, how to treat a book, turning a page of a book. So this is the time I use also. Don't just, children bend the pages and stuff. Oh, it drives me crazy. So I teach them how to turn a page, read the line again, go over it, look at the picture again. What did you miss? Look again, observe, see something different. Now that time is precious to them because it's a one-on-one.
Sakhina put it so
that's
politely.
How I get them.
I say dog's ears. I don't like dog's ears, She's so polite about it, and I want to reiterate on that because if you ask me, we're definitely raising children in a digital world. So if you ask me, how do I feel about digital reading versus traditional reading? And Sakhina put one sentence that makes me think of why, to be honest, I'm so old school that I'm so old school at heart when it comes to books. And she said two words, turning pages, holding that book. No distractions, no adverts in between.
Adverts,
no adverts. So we can't ignore digital reading. It has a place.
Yeah.
There are audiobooks, there are reading apps, there are amazing books that are online that support learning, especially for struggling readers who are so used to the digital platform. Maybe just as parents who don't know how to manage screen time, add in a little of those. But for me, I still believe that the deeper part of reading happens best without the notifications popping up every few seconds.
Exactly. Sakhina, quick one-liner. Something about reading. Quick one to motivate the demotivated educator. Quick one.
To motivate. I think you should use reading to connect with the child.
Perfect. And you, Ray?
I believe that your child doesn't need to be you don't need to be a perfect teacher to teach your child to read, but you need to be a present one. You need to be a present parent.
100%.
Reading together, even if it's messy, rushed, or imperfect, it plants the seed to the love of reading rather than the learning to read.
Well, both our ladies couldn't have said it any better. Right now, you'll make reading feel so tasty, so delicious. And I know all the children are listening right now. No, exactly.
No,
it's
the
like
children are sleeping.
You will be amazed. So many of them are under the blanket blankets with their phones. Monli isn't watching TikTok and YouTube. Or exactly. We the teachers, but we think we are the children. We want to go to bed early. Not them. Well, as we wrap up tonight's discussion, one thing is clear. Reading is not just about words on a page. It is about building minds, shaping character, and unlocking endless possibilities for our children. So to all parents, teachers, and caregivers listening, let's make reading part of daily life. A few minutes a day can spark a lifelong love for learning. A heartfelt thank you to my wonderful ladies and our guests, Reyhana Sayed and Sakhina, for sharing their insight and passion with us and making reading feel so tasty.
I could go on and on with this topic, Sumaya. You know it, eh?
Thanks so much,
It's
Sakhina.
my pleasure.
And our listeners, thank you for tuning into School Matters. Until next time, I'm Sumaya Khan. Rewind and remember that every child who reads today becomes a leader tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum.
Subhanallah walhamdulillah.